And then Nurit, you need to unmute.
Okay, so you're all muted, but when we get, well, very soon we're going to get to be hearing from the different students. So students, you'll need to unmute when it's your turn to speak, and when people have questions, we'll ask you to use your virtual raise hand feature on the Zoom. So welcome everyone. I'm Rabbi Steve.
And we should start recording. I haven't seen it pop up yet.
It is recording, Richard.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Welcome everyone. I'm Rabbi Steve Cohen from Congregation B'nai B'rith in Santa Barbara, California. And our congregation has had a relationship, a connection with Givat Chaviva International School, with GHIS, for a number of years now. And one of the most important ways that we have managed to stay connected and closely connected with GHIS and with the students of GHIS over the years have been these Zoom meetings that we try to have. We try to have them almost once a month. We usually take a break during the summer, and have had some just incredible, wonderful conversations with students in which the students have shared with us their experience at the school, what it has meant to them, how it has affected their life and their way of thinking. Obviously, today, we're all in a new reality post October 7th. We haven't had one of these Zoom meetings since October 7th, and so we're particularly interested to hear from you, the students, about your experience at GHIS since the day of the Hamas attacks on Israel and the beginnings of the war between Israel and Hamas. So I want to, I think almost all of you know her, but just in case you don't, our primary partner, family member at GHIS is Nurit Gary, who is the executive director of the school. And I'm going to take a moment just to express our gratitude, our deep, deep gratitude to Nurit for everything that she has done to create the school and to allow us to be in relationship with the students of GHIS. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nurit, who will introduce today's guests, or today's students.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Richard and Sissy and the committee for being here, for inviting Barbara Rosenblum, inviting so many guests. And thank you all for coming and joining us. This is a very special time in Israel. And that is actually one of the reasons that you will see we have a big panel today, because I really wanted you to hear different voices that, each one of them is a whole person with a lot of questions about identity at times like this, a lot of question about their place in the world and what they need to do going forward. And at the same time, being young people and wanting to enjoy life and wanting to personally excel. And it's a very difficult time. I wanted, before I move to the students, just to share a little bit from my perspective of what's going on in Israel now. I know that all of you follow the news closely, and I'm sure you hear things happening all the time. And I know Israel is on the top of the news, but I know not everything appears in the news. And I wanted to share a little bit about, before I give the time to the students and graduates, every person in Israel is going through a difficult time now, whether you are a Jew, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Christian, whether you are a Druze, and we have representation of the different groups, and whether that you are an international student that found yourself in Israel in the middle of this all, and you just came to go to a normal high school, and here you are in a war. People are afraid, people are worried, people lost many times friends. We are in many situations that we never have been before. You know, I have Arab friends at the school that tell me that they are afraid to go in the street because people, after people in the South went through the terrible events on October 7th, many people are worried about hearing people speaking Arabic in the streets. So that puts our Arab friends in a very uncomfortable situation where suddenly they can't just go in the street and speak freely because people are afraid of them. And from that fear can come unexpected hate and violence and things that we don't even think about. So I brought this wonderful group of young people that will represent the different aspects of what they're going through. I spoke to them before and told them that, like always, I'm not going to tell them what to say and what not to say on the call, because you know that they're wonderful. Some of them you met, and the whole idea is that they will feel free to really share what they're going through. We have graduates, we have students from different cohorts, from different age groups, and we will start by an introduction. So let's go by age. Noga, or is it Hussein? Noga, you go first.
Hi, good evening to all of you, or good morning, actually. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Noga. I am almost 20, but I'm sort of denying that. And I graduated from GHIS in 2022. So that is a year and a half ago. I was born here in Israel, in Haifa, but I lived most of my life abroad. I lived in India for 4 years, and then in Ghana, West Africa for 8. Came back to GHIS in 11th grade. Really happy I did so. I was very happy that I did, really. And then I had a gap year in France with the Jewish Agency, felt what it was like living in a Jewish community abroad, came back, and I am waiting to start the army in December.
Thank you, Noga. And we will go with an introduction first, and then we will start with the questions. So Hussein, on to you.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Hussein, and I graduated in the same year as Noga. I'm currently now in Switzerland. I was born in Israel, obviously. I spent 3 years in France also when I was about 8 years old. And I went to GHIS. And after GHIS, I took a gap year. I stayed in Israel, prepared myself for universities. And here I am in Switzerland. I'm doing a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering at the EPFL, École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne. And it's a pleasure to be here.
I will just say that Hussein is a very modest boy, but EPFL is one of the top universities in the world, definitely the top university in Europe, and it's a world-known university. So even to get in is a huge honor, and he's already doing his master's. So we're really proud. We are going on to Ronan and Iris.
Hello, everyone. So let's stick to the age, going from the oldest to the youngest. So my name is Ronan Azam, and I'm from the Golan Heights, from a small village on top of Mount Hermon, a very small village. And in 10th grade, I decided to try something new and different, and I ended up at GHIS. And this is my 3rd year now. I'm 12 years old, not 12, I'm in 12th grade, I mean. And yeah, it's been a great 3 years. and it's a pleasure to be here.
I'm Iris Smith. I'm from the US, from a small town in upstate New York. And yeah, I was just looking for a really different opportunity and I found out about GHIS. It's my first year here and so far it's been really great.
And we're going to Shaked, Ali, and Samir.
Yaniv first.
Okay, Sonia.
Hi everyone. I'm Samir. I'm from Monrovia, Liberia. I'm also from India. It's a pleasure to be here in this meeting. Thank you.
So I'm Shakir. I'm a Jewish Israeli student. I live 30 minutes away from Kivat Chaviva. All the three of us are in DP1, which is like 11th grade. And is that?
Hello, everybody. My name is Ali. I'm from Bakajat. It's like 10 minutes from here, GHIS. It's my second year here, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So we started with the introduction and now we're going to dive a little bit deeper. Each one of you is going through or went through and continuously going through with Noga and Hussein a huge identity building in the last few years. And I would like whoever wants, and this is not by order, to talk a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you found GHIS building your identity or things you came through. Shaked, how about if you go first?
Okay, yeah. I will actually love that. So I feel like GHIS changed my identity because it introduced a much more complex side to reality and to humanity. And the values I learned here, like humanity comes first. And it's certainly something that affected the way I see the world, the way I see things, and that I feel like I have much more room for empathy for all kinds of people, and it gave me the ability to see things much more clear and much more objective, and I'm really proud of my ability to see the world in that way. And I think it's very rare. And also I wanted to add that I feel that it's my obligation to speak out for, like on the behalf of people that live in Israel and talk about things you're not always seeing in the media, because I know in the media it's really, you only see the things that are very exaggerated and very like fit to the media. And I wanted to emphasize more about like the humanity side and how we see it, with like much more emphasis on humanity and on empathy to all kinds of people.
Great. Hussein?
Yes, so I want to start back before I joined GHIS. I studied for about 6 years at a Christian school in Nazareth. And back in my old class, everybody was homogeneous. Everybody shared the same ideas. Everybody listened to the same music, wore the same colors, wore the same clothes. And it's a bit the same story with, I think, the majority of Arab students that decided to come to GHIS, as Ronan has said, that we wanted to try something new. But in my case, I didn't want to try something new, and it was my mom that forced me to try something new. So at first, I rejected the idea of coming to GHIS. Like, you can already see to which point I was in my comfort zone, where it even allowed me to reject the idea of stepping beyond that comfort zone. So, but I can say that I don't have one bit of regret that I made that decision. It has completely transformed my personality. And I always say this, and I'm gonna continue to say it, GHIS has taught me how to become an active person in society, because I feel and I observe around me that most of the Arab citizens in Israel are very passive when it comes to sharing their ideologies, sharing their thoughts, or even having thoughts. So yes, I think that's one of the most significant changes that happened, or that my personality underwent when I was at GHIS, and I can say that I'm very proud of it, and I'm very proud that I took this step, and very proud of the place where I'm at now.
And I have to add that Hussein came to the school as a top student. He is a brilliant student, but he was very quiet, and we forced him into the area of talking and sharing, and he became a leader and hosted the graduation. So he really is modest. It's sharing what he is modest compared to the reality. Ronan and Iris, do you want to talk a little bit about identity and where you are and different things you struggle with?
Yeah, sure. So I am from a very small town, as I said, and it's a very insular community, so there's not really a lot going on, and there's not different, cultures and representation of different people. And I think for myself, like, I travel a lot, and my family is kind of they were really supportive of my idea of coming to Israel and studying at GHIS, and it was like pretty much all my own idea. I think I found this school and I started applying by myself. But what I really liked,
Iris, I'm sorry, can you try to move the computer a little bit towards you so we will hear you better?
yeah, sure. Is this better?
Great. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, what I really liked about this school is that it's students from all over the world, and it's just there's a really collective element to it, and everybody is, in a society together. And I think having like this experience of being in a multicultural area with people with like different perspectives and different ideas, it's really important to the way that I see the world. And so far it's been really great, I think, and I have gotten a lot out of it, even though I've only been here for a couple months.
I'd also love to share something. So I come from the Druze society. I don't know if you know a lot about it. It's a very conservative society, and especially the Druze society in the Golan Heights that has experienced a shift from Syria to Israel, I would say. From the village I come from, everyone, as Hussein said, which I share with him the same thing, that everyone literally has the same beliefs, the same ideas, the same religion. In my village, there's only Druze, and basically I lived my whole life there, seeing the world from one perspective, which is not a bad thing, but unless I want to do something different, because some people would like to stay at this stage of their life and enjoy the most out of it. But the way I looked at it is coming to GHIS would be transforming for me, because for us in the Golan, the Druze society, it's difficult to travel abroad because there's a problem with passport, because the changes in the political situation over there, there's a difficulty with having a passport. So that's why it's difficult for us to travel abroad. And the way I looked at it is, if I come to GHIS, I wouldn't really have to travel abroad to see the world. I would come to GHIS and actually see the world here in a small place where everyone from the world gathers. And if we look at identity, which is a very interesting idea that is really in my life now in a practical way, not just as a concept, because identity is a concept, but we could actually apply it and feel its tangibility. I would give you an example. Last year and the year before, in GHIS, we have an activity called the Cultural Day or the Cultural Carnival, where everybody holds the flag of their country, shares their culture with everybody, the food of their culture and everything. They would love to share about their culture and the place they come from. So when I find myself at this position, and I'm the only Druze in the school, it's my responsibility to represent my society. But it was really difficult for me to hold the flag. Like, which flag should I hold? Should I hold the Israeli flag or the Syrian flag? Because it's really conflicting because of how the society I come from and the ideologies the older generation has, and the actual reality that we live in. And I'm a person who likes to look at reality and where am I now? I'm in Israel, and so from those experiences, I created a film which actually talks about identity, and the title of the film is In Search of My Identity. It really talks about the experiences of me being in a place where everyone shares different identities, where my identity is complex and difficult to explain. And the main point from this film was not just to show the personal struggle that I had, but also to show how this struggle and identity I share it with everyone in my society. And me, 17 years old, being the first one actually talking about the identity struggle in my society is something I'm really proud of. In a like the way I talked about it in an artistic way, and I'm really proud that this way of thinking and this way of doing things, how I created it and developed it in GHIS, because I have now a really good perspective about identity and what identity is really, because I've seen so many different identities, and I could define myself amongst the diversity that I'm in the shared society that we have here. So
I want to tell you all, since once in a while I share my personal observation, that Ronan came to the school 2 years ago, 2 years and 2 months ago, and he did not speak English. He was a charmer, so we decided to give him a chance, but it was hard for him to speak a whole sentence in English. So I'm sitting here listening to him and to the way he's able to express himself so deeply in fluent English. And Ronan, what can I say? We made the right choice, and you are going to be a huge, how will I say it? Pride to GHIS, I'm sure.
I appreciate this. It's pride for me to be here also.
Let's go on to Samir, who also has an identity story.
Hi, everyone. Once again, I'm Samir. A little bit about myself. I'm a writer. I write short story and poem, and I'm a student athlete. Now, for my identity, it's mixed. So I'm Indian, but I'm African. I'm from Liberia. And it's a bit hard for me sometimes to identify if I'm African or I'm Indian. And sometimes it's like a shell, and you really have to dive deep to find out like who you truly are. But then there's a time I realized that I can be a bit of both, and I am from both places. And about GHIS, like since I got here, and I'm a really observant person, I observed the school, observed the staff and everyone, and I came to conclude that this school is actually like a replica of what the world should actually be, because I mean they have Jews, they have Arabs, they have different group of people. They even have like Chinese and Vietnamese people here. And you have these students living together without, they have their differences, but they're living together and working through their differences. And I think it's what world leaders should look at. And I think it's how they should be. They should be able to cooperate with one another. I think a it's like a peace symbol to the world. That's because I'm a very observant person. And I got to know this school through research, because I do a lot of research. And when I came across it, I was like, I can't miss this opportunity. It's something to take. And I got here, and I'm blessed to be here actually. And for my identity, I'm still diving deep in that path to actually figure out who I am. And I'm sure in the next 2 years, GHI is gonna help me like shape me, and we'll give the grace to God. Everything's gonna be good in the next 2 years. Thanks.
Ali, you have a very interesting story about how you decided to come to the school and your village and your background. So
Yeah, that's right. At first, as Hussein's stories, uh, like I didn't wanna like go to another school. Like I didn't wanna go to a shared society place for like a lot of reasons. But like my parents forced me because they saw like because like I don't know why, but like yeah, they saw the importance of like being in a shared society and like meeting new people and stuff like that.
how many
But like I reject
how many Jewish friends did you have before coming to the school?
all of them. Like all of my friends are Jews and like internationals. And like I have like just another friend. So yeah.
But before coming to the school,
Before coming to this school, I had zero friends. Like I didn't like meet any of them because like we had like a lot of stereotypes about them and they also had stereotypes about us. So like it was really hard deciding coming to this school. And okay, to like just to clarify something, before I came to this school, I talked to Hussein. Maybe it's his first time seeing me, but like he's like the main person who convinced me coming to this school. And yeah, like and now me and his brother are friends. Yeah. So so yeah, that's my story. Like it was really hard deciding coming to this school. And yeah, that's it.
okay, guys, so now we're going to dive into the next level, and that's talking about what you're going through now. Since the war started, from your different perspective and how you experience it, whatever you want to share. And, you know, one of the things I will share with you, my Santa Barbara friends, is that there are a lot of levels of complexity now. Some of them are told, some of them are not told in the news. The students will share them. But for example, one of the things that they need to deal with now is that on our campus, that is usually like a campus that hosts schools and all kind of youth activities. We have 200 evacuees from the south who are now living on campus. They came from the town Ashkelon in the south. Many of them are religious. Many of them, I must say, are more right-wing, like a closed right-wing conservative community. And here they are coming to the idea of shared society, many of them for the first time meeting the idea of shared society, many of them for the first time meeting Arabs and students who are international and came to this country. And our students, this is their home. So suddenly in their home, they have 200 people who are evacuees and they feel sorry for them, but they need to live together somehow on campus. If any of you want to share your experiences. Another thing that I think is not told and many times students need to deal with is that we still have a lot of rockets flying on Israel. Just 2 hours ago, there were alarms all over the center of Israel. So a lot of our families and friends are having in central Tel Aviv and all the cities around alarms every evening. You know, sometimes when I look at the news abroad, I say, I know that many things are going around, but I know that the international media are showing things in a very one-sided way. Definitely, they're not showing that people in Tel Aviv are having rockets thrown at them almost every evening. So there are different aspects to the story. People, as I said before, fear from many different aspects. And whoever of you wants to share, you know, your difficult side or the some moments of light that you found at the school or with your communities, or anything specific to this time? And again, whoever wants to go.
Okay, I will start, I think.
Sure.
So it's like after it was a shock, like to all of us, it was very painful. A friend of mine that also studies here in the school was in the shelter for about 12 hours, like unaware of anything that's going outside, and like what's happened to her family, and a very difficult situation. And we also was very worried about her. My dad is now in the army. Like I haven't seen him for like a long time. And with all of that, we had to go, we went back here. And from one side, I was really happy because I really wanted routine. Like I was desperate for a routine, to give like a certain stability. But in a way, I felt that it's very, I felt like I need to defend my own point of view. So coming to this community, like back in here, might put me in a situation where I'm like, where I need to defend myself, and maybe I'm not ready for it yet. But when I came back here, what I realized is that except of this whole war like ruined the lives of many people, and like distracting like the reality that we had in this country, it ruined like our dream here, like of living together, and of all the values we believe in, and all the things we practice every day, of like acceptance, and like it ruined all of that. And being here again in a way gave me not only hope, but a feeling that we won, a feeling that we came over it, and we overcame it in a way. Not overcame, because it's not over yet, but like us being able to hold this complexity here and still have hope for humanity is like, for me, it's like we won, like by this.
Can I go next?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Once again, I'm Samir. So what happened on October 7th was a big shock to me, because for me, I have a routine. I'm an athlete. I wake up every morning at 4. I go for a run. But when the siren, it was the first time in my life to ever hear a siren, and it severely affected me, because I had panic attacks for like 3 days straight, and I couldn't wake up to go for a run. And it was very scary, actually. I thought my life was gonna end at a certain point, but I want to give like utmost thanks to the staff, especially the CE and CLT members and the administration. Like they really help us get through this tough time. There were times like the first 2 or 3 weeks I would try to study, and I would just get like panic attacks. Like there's a siren, but there's no siren, but it's all in my head. So it actually messed with me, because I'm international, and it was really horrifying. It was a bad experience, but luckily I had someone to talk to. The school helped us go through it. They assured us that we were safe, especially our principal. He's a very good guy. He made sure that every student felt safe no matter what. And now we're living with people from the south, and it's new. We're all trying to adjust. That's the thing with life. You have to adapt. So that's one major thing that really affected me. Yeah.
No, we can't hear you.
One more interesting thing to say, Samir, is that you had an opportunity to be hosted with a family, which is actually by chance Hussein's family. I don't know Hussein, if you even know.
Yeah, I met Hussein online. I talked to him at his family's house. Apparently his mom's a really great cook.
Yeah.
She made nice pizzas.
I can confirm.
Yeah.
I can
do agree.
confirm.
Yeah.
Okay, Ali.
Yeah, so it was, as everybody said, it was a big shock. And especially being an Arab Israeli person who lives in Israel and also in two different communities. I live in an Arab village and I live in this shared society, in this shared community also. So it's really hard, like having like thoughts, I'm so confused. Like it's confusion actually, because um when the war started, like I've been in my house with my friends, with my family, with like everybody in the village for 3 weeks. So they all have the same thoughts, the same aspects, the same thing. But once we came back here, it's another time. It's ruined all my thoughts that I took it from them, and the news that I have it on Instagram also. And it's so hard to have like I don't know how to call it, but like to focus like on some thoughts. Um, and like I have my own aspects as a let me call it Palestinian. I have my own aspects, and everybody knows that. And like I used to be active in this school. I used to be active on Instagram, talking like every time I have a chance to talk, I talk and everything like that. But once when the war started and like the Israeli government started putting like حسين ساعدنا يا حسين. مش عارف شو اقول انه خلص صار في انذارات.
He's trying to explain that uh, he couldn't express himself. I mean, you can tell more, and I can help
Yeah,
you.
okay. So
Yeah.
I couldn't express myself. I couldn't express myself because
Because of the
because of the
fear.
government. Yeah.
Because of the fear that
Yeah, because of the government. Like we have like whoever posts something or shares his thoughts on the social media, he will get like his consequences. So it was like we had like madness inside, like deep inside ourselves and stuff like that. But when I came back to school, like every teacher, every teacher talked to me like, "What's wrong with you, Ali? You're not talking. Like it's okay. If you cannot talk in Instagram, you can talk here, and you can share whatever you want." So like that was like I don't know how to call it, but that like I felt so good that I can like share what I think, and yeah, that's it.
great. Hussein?
Yes, sure. It gets a bit hard for me to talk about this, even though I'm very far away. But it's a different kind of stress when you're not when you're not I mean when you're not close to your family, when you don't know exactly what is happening in real time. But uh, I would like to share an experience that I had, a similar experience that I lived through at GHIS, and it was during the aggression period in 2021. So I was in 11th grade at that time, and it was the first major conflict that I lived through in GHIS. I remember at the time it was a turning point for me because I wasn't used to different political opinions as I mentioned previously, uh, due to the similarity in the homogeneous society that I lived through before. And what really touched me is that everybody had a place to share his thoughts. And it could be sometimes hard for some people to share their thoughts back home because people expect you to say something. And if you say something that is a bit different or that doesn't match what they want to hear, it gets a bit heated. But that didn't happen at GHIS, and it allowed me to express myself and to develop my thoughts and perspectives and to shape my ideas. I always say during these periods, a lot of negativity is being spread, but I think a lot of positivity is also being spread. I think a lot of people are waking up to reality. Maybe not most people, but some people are being moved by this, are being pushed to take action, are being pushed to share their thoughts, to develop their perspectives. And unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, I can say that it is because of these hardships that I was able to shape to shape my thoughts and to be who I am right now. Without those and living in a utopic society, I don't think I would have had the space to become who I am right now.
Thank you, Hussein. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would also like to share.
Go ahead now.
So, like everyone here and abroad and in general, the last month has been extremely difficult. And amid all this craziness, I mean, amid all this abnormality is too little of a word for it, for everything that we're experiencing. So I keep thinking, and just to describe what this abnormality for all of us is, I mean, for each of us, it's different, but everything is abnormal. For me, it can be, waiting for 10:05, for example, to leave the house and walk our dogs, or checking in on my friends who last year were in 12th grade and now are in the army. And I'm worried for them, very worried for them, among so many others who I'm worried for. And among all this, and people that I know who aren't, anyway, one thing that I always come back to, and a memory that I have been genuinely thinking about in the last couple of days again and again. And Norit, I wanted to share this with you, so I'll share it with you now. When I was in 12th grade, in 2022 in GHIS, we had a ceremony called the Commemoration of Loss and Celebration of Life. And it was the first time something like that had happened in GHIS, and there was a lot of debate about whether to do it or not. And the gist of the ceremony was for many people from many different parts of the world to come together in grief for people of their ethnicity or religion or country who are not here anymore, and then later in celebration of life. And we had a very big celebration. But during that ceremony, I read a poem called The Lost Boy in Lebanon about a soldier who was killed during the Second Lebanese War. And a girl who was my roommate at GHIS, whose name is Jenna, and she's from a village called Turan, she read about her grandmother during the Nakba. And I was very guilty. How can I talk about a soldier, an Israeli soldier who is dead, while Jenna talks about her grandma whom Israeli soldiers chased out? How can this grief happen at the same time? And yet, yet I remember at the end of the ceremony, I was crying like many others, and Jenna and I hugged. And it showed me that in the amount of grief that we feel now and I feel now, that is the thing that unites us, no matter who we are and where we're from, because we feel that grief together. And we lean on each other no matter where we come from. And that's something I experienced in GHIS. It's these friendships that lasted after GHIS that I still lean on for grief and support and hope. And that's what keeps me sane.
Amazing. Love that.
Thank you,
Wanna-
thank you. Noga, that was very, very moving and powerful. Thank you.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
I would love to share also something. Last year and the year before, we've been experiencing a war that has also influenced GHIS and the way we look at the world. But this war was far away from us. We just looked at it through social media, which is the war between Ukraine and Russia. And when that happened, we hosted students from Ukraine, and we have students from Russia. And a Druze from a village in the Golan Heights who doesn't really know anything about Russia or Ukraine, like actually in life, just on social media, and we see just like things on social media about them, being able to actually be friends with a Russian guy and be friends with the Ukrainian, and also being with them on the same dinner table was something very turning for me. Like the way I look at the world now isn't just that the world is a map and it's divided between countries, and that's the way it is. But inside each country, there's so many different people, so many different ideas, and we should always try to look at the person and what's inside them, and not just what we think about them. Be very careful about the way we judge and see the world around us. And now being in this war and actually experiencing it in the country that I live in is very different, but similar in a way. That I felt like our obligation at GHIS is to really hold still to the values that we have as a shared society and as people who doesn't only care and look just for the sorrow of their people, but also for the sorrow of other people. And that's the way when we try to see, when we when we have empathy and try to see the sorrow of others, not just the sorrow that we are going through, we can build bonds that could last a lifetime and that could change the way we live life. And I believe that our community in GHIS is a very rare community, not only in Israel, but also in the world. Very few humans experience such an experience, especially in a place that's very politically pressuring and very diverse and very, very complex, basically. So I believe that our community here and the graduates are going to be leaders in their society, and also not just leaders in their society that they want to build a good society for themselves, but also be good with others and build bonds with other societies. I really see a lot of hope in the future, in my future and the future of GHIS students, and I believe that it's a first step for us to be able to look at each other's sorrow and each other's different perspectives and appreciate them and consider them. That would be a first step to be able to take a wise decision in the future when we are able to take a decision. And I believe that our job as students in GHIS is to learn and observe our surrounding now to be able to be wise in the way we take a decision in the future.
Thank you, Rana. Rabbi, it's 10 minutes to. I'm passing to you if you have questions or.
Thank you, Nuri. Before I call on anybody, I just want to say, and I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody on the call, this has been a very powerful experience. And so we're so grateful to all of you. And you know, a few of you have spoken about feeling hopeful, and I think that you have given us some hope today that we needed. So let's take some time for some questions. Lynn Altschul, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. I just want to thank you all so much for sharing your thoughts with us today. It's so powerful and meaningful to all of us. And I'm so impressed with the theme that I hear from so many of you, which is that this is a community, a culture that really encourages and helps you feel comfortable expressing yourself to each other. And you know, in a way, I wish the whole world could do. And I'm wondering if you can identify or talk about what is it about the culture at GHIS that allows you to do that? I mean, in the world that doesn't happen very easily, but it feels like, at least your experiences has been that you're able to do that in a way that feels very special and powerful. And I just wondered if there's any way you can describe to us what it is there that makes it so possible. Obviously, if we could replicate that, it would be a much better world. And I also agree with Rabbi. It's been a very hopeful. You guys are you're in the thick of it, and to hear your expressions really does give us hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
I do have a short answer for you that popped up in my head. We live together and we don't have a choice. And so we live with people who are different from us. You know, our roommates are different from us, and we were 3 people in a room, and each person comes from a different place. So you wake up and you see someone different from you, and you go to sleep and you see someone different from you, and you spend your whole day with people who are different from you. And so no matter what you say or experience, we're also high school students who have to study and have to live our lives and go to the dining hall and, you know, learn. And we also are teenagers. We're almost were, because I'm almost 20, but teenagers who live together. And so we sort of balance all of that out. And that is sort of what encourages us to speak to each other.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noga. That's a great response. Any other students want to respond to Lynn's question about, you know, a little bit specifically,
Yeah.
what is it at GHIS that enables you to speak? Go ahead.
Yeah, for me it's just one word, and that's love.
Mm-hmm.
A love for humanity. I think when GHIS is like their students, they look for students who have love for humanity, because I mean, to be able to live in this kind of shared society and be able to accept people for who they are, you have to have love for humanity. If you don't have that, you can't be a student of GHIS. I think that's the core thing they look for. And that's what this society has, from the staff to everyone, even to the birds here, everyone, like there's love. There's people want to be together. That's what I think.
Thank you, Samir. Okay, I see Toby has her hand up. Toby?
You know how to put your virtual.
Yeah. So I'm going to read something that I was taken with, because I think one of you shared that what's going on is, horrifying. I'm just thinking about, what was it for me when I heard the first day? And I think that it has been an attack and a undescribable violation of my personal core values. And when I first met Nurit, I'm a school teacher and have been to Israel. When I first spoke with Nurit about this project, what really struck me is that this could be the seed. I don't know if you know, I think in a Latino community, the Coco Pelli, it's spreading the seeds of hope. So when I spoke with her initially, that's what came to my mind, was this image of literally a hope being cultivated and built and then spread universally. And, this call, so what I looked up was the definition of beacon, because this is what I consider GHI students, present and past. A beacon is a light or a other visible object serving as a signal, a warning, or guide at sea or on an airfield. And if someone acts as a beacon to another person, they inspire or encourage them. An example, they are a beacon of hope for navigating the darkest passages of our lives. And I'm wondering, my curiosity poses a question to you all. If you see yourselves as I see you, or as we, like when I hold up a mirror to what I'm hearing, it makes me hopeful. I mean, I feel like nobody can ever take away my hope. It's hard. I will not say it's been easy, but I'm wondering how you sense. I'm wondering about your sense of that, and I also want to say that I have a lot of gratitude for those of you who shared where you are today, because it makes me, sitting in the United States, a little more connected to what's happening. So thank you for your transparency as well.
Thank you, Tony. And just because we're getting to the end of the hour, I see Sissy wanted to either say something or ask something also. And so maybe Sissy, you can go ahead and then we'll have some final responses from the students.
Gotta unmute. Can you
There you
hear
go.
me now?
Yes.
You know, Narit, there are so many times you have asked, what is our watchword? What is our byline? And it's Shireen, what did you say? Love for humanity?
Samir, yeah.
Samir, I want to tell you, I have been there this past year, and you said it all. It is love for humanity. And for that is the hope that I am coming away with. So blessings.
Thanks, Sissy. Any of the students want to respond to Toby's question of, do you see yourselves the way we see you?
I would like to say a thing on that.
Hussein, go ahead.
I would also like to share that I'm also like you, Miss Toby. I look in the mirror sometimes and I start shouting words to my face. I guess that helps me stay hopeful in times as such. I'm gonna share a conversation I had with a friend of mine. His name is Alon. He was in my cohort, and we texted a few days ago actually. And at the end, I sent him a text message, and he sent me a voice message. And in that text message I told him not to give up because I see hope in him, and I think what Israel needs the most is people like him. And I promised him that we're gonna change Israel and change the world. So I gotta stick by my promise, and I'm working hard every day to do so.
Wonderful, Hussein. That's actually that's such a great note to end on. Nurit, do you want to offer any final thoughts?
I was thinking that my final thoughts will read Hussein's WhatsApp that he sent to me. But I think the one you got from Alon, or you sent Alon, is as good or maybe even better. So Hussein, you can't give up. We have a lot of hope in you and in every one of you that was here today. Thank you so, so much. Noga, Hussein, Ali, Shakid, Samir, Ronan, and Iris, you guys are really amazing. And you chose a very, very difficult choice, and you are sticking with your difficult choice even through difficult times. And that gives all of us who are one generation above you, we ruined the world, you're going to fix it. So thank you, Rabbi Steve. Thank you, my Santa Barbara friends. Thank you for being here. And this call is recorded. So if any one of you will want to share it with more friends, we have it recorded. And I promised Ronan also that whoever will be interested, we will send his short video about identity that I thought was brilliant, about how a Druze boy from the Golan Heights looks for his identity. So that's my final words.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you all for coming today, and thank you to the students. Thank you to Nurit.